Hey guys, welcome back to Operation Variation. This is turn 7, and first up here's the Soviet Far East Command. So here we go with tech. Soviets have a very nice VP lead right now, starting on turn 7. They have 8, China has 1, and the US has 0. So, alright, here's all the techs that we are going for. Need 8s on everything except the black, and higher on everything except the black dice, which we need a 7 or higher on. Oh my gosh. Did I hit 1 tech? I think I got 1. Man, tech rolling pretty much for everybody's been bad. So that's tech 5 that I hit. And tech 5 is, what is that? Caterpillar Drive? All right, so we're at stage 3. Everything else missed. All right, let's talk about unit purchase. Okay, so I had 3 battle stars coming into the turn. I'm going to spend 2 of them to start a shipyard in South Vietnam. And then you see this little nuclear symbol here? I'm at DEFCON 1 now since the U.S. used battlefield nuclear weapons on me. So not only do I get to place my reserve attack bomber, but everything this turn is a -1 each discount. So nice new feature of V2, which we find to be a lot of fun. And so, yeah, I get to spend quite a bit this turn. So, with 2 advisors, I'm buying 2 SP artillery for a total of 6. Those will be placed in Alaska, hence the 2 advisors. 2 paramilitary for 2. 4 early gen fighters for 8. An MBT and a SPAG for a total of 4. A mech, a field artillery, and an early gen fighter for what looks like 6. 2 main battle tanks for 6. And yeah, that's it. So let's get into combat movement. We will start down here in Southeast Asia, where the Soviet SSN will be firing 2 anti-ship missiles at the oil tankers, trying to collect some extra income there. We'll be rolling to align Laos. We're using our 2 free dice. We'll be doing an assault into North Vietnam, and let me come back and show you what that is going to look like. Or you can stay here. Thought I'd paused it. We're attacking 2 light infantry and a next-gen MBT. We're going to be coming in with the 3 light infantry and the early-gen fighter, the fighter, and the attack bomber. And I think SPAG won't do us any good, so we will leave it behind. I think we probably should come in with 1 of the 2 light infantry from Laos as well. Like that. Okay. Okay, we've got a lot. Let's get some more light on here. Here we go. We've got a lot more attacks up here. First and easiest, the major airbase in Vlad and the backfire in Vlad are going to fire 3 cruise missiles into a surgical strike with SpySat into Beijing. Then we are going into Inner Mongolia and into there with everything from Dornogavi, almost everything from Uliassutai, the airborne from and early gen fighter from Ulaanbaatar, and then the 2 medium bombers and the early gen fighter from Vlad. We're also coming into this fight. Could be bloody if the SAM hits, but we really want to put more pressure on Beijing, indirect pressure on Beijing by coming in here. So I feel like it's a good attack. Then into South Korea, we're bringing the rest of the stuff from Ulaanbaatar. It's coming down here. That is 2 attack helicopters, and an air cav. And then also, oh, I forgot, the 2 SRBMs are also coming in here in a chemical attack in Inner Mongolia. And then into South Korea, we're also bringing the early gen fighter, the early gen MBT, and the airborne from North Korea. And we're going to try to take that back. And I think, oh no, we're also bringing into South Korea the rest of the air power from Vlad as well, just for insurance more than anything else. So let me look that over and then get back and see if there's anything else. Actually, I'm glad I looked. I don't need the attack bomber in South Korea from Vlad, but I am going to bring it down here to the fight in North Vietnam to beef that up. So, all right, let's start rolling some dice. Okay, first, let's do the attacks on the oil tankers. Pretty simple. 2 dice at 5. Any 5s or less will be a hit. And there's 1 hit, so I'll put 1 tanker onto my build plate. That'll give me an extra 2 wartime bonus. Very nice. Okay, now let's try to align Cambodia. I got 2 dice, looking for a 10 or higher. Nope, 2 and a 7. That's a miss. Okay, here's North Vietnam. It is mountains, so the attacking infantry are down to 1. A lot of air power here, which the Soviets are going to be depending on. So let's do the 2 attack bombers. There's no first strike, so let's do the 2 attack bombers and the fighter first. There's 2 hits, 2 general hits. So the Soviets are 2/3 of the way there. Let's do the early gen fighter and the 4 infantry. And those all miss. All right, so Chinese will take the 2 infantry, and these are good chances of hits here for the Chinese. Oh, and they got 3 hits. So that's the next gen. No, actually they got 2 hits. So one of the light infantry missed. Land target select doesn't matter because they only brought 1 type of land unit, so that'll be 2 light infantry. So this just means China will have a decent chance at taking it back, assuming they can't pull off a miracle here. So let's do the 2 attack bombers and the fighter in round 2. Oh yeah, that's plenty. So the Chinese next gen gets to shoot back at a 6, and it hits. So yeah, well done, Soviets. So China will go down to 11, and Soviets will go up to 18, but they lost 3 light infantry in the process, so China can definitely take it back next turn. Okay, here's the fight for South Korea. Because of the attack choppers, the Soviet air cav and airborne are boosted. Nice little force here. Any ones that China rolls with the attack chopper are going to be a big problem for the Soviets, and their air superiority fighter will have to retire. Brought that just in case the Chinese scrambled theirs from Zhejiang. Okay, no first strike once again. So we'll start from the top. 2 attack choppers and a fighter for the Soviets. There's only 1 hit. All right, that's not super great. Then the air cav is at a 5, and the airborne and the early gen are at 3s. All right, there's 1 more hit. And then the early gen MBT is at a 1. Nope. Okay, so 2 hits. Chinese will take the airborne and 1 of the 2 Marines. All right. So the 2 Marines and the attack chopper, all 3 miss. And then the airborne at a 2. Oh no, it gets a hit. Okay, Soviets will take the early gen MBT. Oh, no. Soviets will not, because if that attack chopper manages to get a target select, they could take the airborne, but then the air cav could still right? Could still walk in. So yeah, we'll do that. That's the cheapest unit. Okay, so just need 2 more hits. So attack chopper and fighter. Yeah, there's 2 more hits. So that's plenty. All right, so the Chinese chopper will be in pink. Oh, and it got, oh my gosh, 2 1s, including a target select. All right, so they will target select the air cav, and the general hit, the Soviets going to stick with the early gen fighter. Wow, just goes to show you dice can do anything. But the Soviets do go up to 20 with South Korea, and that puts the Chinese down to 9. And here's the battle for Inner Mongolia. A lot of first strike and a lot of chemical on both sides. China is going to use their SAM for air defense. That might be a mistake. Yeah, because air defense would take out the Soviets would take the early gens. Missile defense, they'd have to take the SRBMs, and rolling the same because China has AMD at level 2. All right, they're going to do missile defense. So 2 at 2 or less, and they both miss. So now we go into the rest of first strike. So here are the. Let's see. We have 4 dice at 4 or less for the SRBM's chemical. And those will be the purple dice. The field artillery at 1s will be the green dice. Okay, so we got 1 hit only. So that's chemical disruption. All that will do is just counteract the effects of the People's War Marker for China. All right, so let's get into the rest of it. Start from the top. As always, we will do the 2 Chinese medium bombers at 5. There's 1 hit. The EGFs will be in green. Those misses all around. The airborne will be in green. Miss. Only 1 hit. So China will take the SAM as the hit. And then the field artillery retires for next round. We'll go ahead and move that there. But then China just has to roll the 2 4s for the light infantry. And there's 1 hit. So China will take one of the field artillery. All right. Or sorry, 1 of the light infantry. The field artillery will retire, and we will go to round 2. Okay, so round 2. 2 medium bombers at 5. There's a hit. Soviets just need 1 more hit. Target select no longer matters, so we can just roll 4 dice at 3. I'll miss, and then the airborne infantry will be in the green dice. All right, well, there's 1 hit. China gets those 2 at 4 again, and there's 1 more hit, so that'll be another light infantry. Actually, no. We'll take the airborne. All right, and then we head into, hopefully, the final round if you're the Soviets. 2 medium bombers. Yeah, there it is. And then the Chinese light infantry shoots back at a 4 and misses. All right, so the Soviets do take Inner Mongolia. Okay, the last combat that we need to resolve is the surgical strike into Beijing with 3 cruise missiles. It's this force right here. There is a SAM there. So China will get 3 dice. They're at stage 2 AMD, so they're looking for 2s. And they shot 2 of them down. So only 1 of the 3 cruise missiles will make it through. And he misses. All right, let's roll into non-combat. The air that participated in North Vietnam came back to South Vietnam. The 2 attack choppers here had to combat land because they had moved 3. So that's that. What do we have up here? So this SSK from P8 will go 1-2 into P16. The 2 fighter class units will roll back here to Vlad. The backfire will also stay there in Vlad. Let's go up here. The 2 SP artillery will come here into central Manchuria from Vlad. The 2 medium bombers and 1 of the early gen fighters will go back to Vlad. The other early gen fighter will go back to Ulaanbaatar. All right. 1 of the MBTs will come from Western Xinjiang. No. We're not going to do that. We'll leave that there. Okay. And I think that's everything I either can or want to do non-combat movement-wise. So let's place units. Actually did think of another non-combat move. I wanted to move this early gen fighter up from Aleutian Islands up to Alaska, giving me 3 there. So now with unit placement, using both of my advisors, I can place both SP artillery there in Alaska. And given that I am battlefield nuclear released, that's something that the pack will have to deal with. And then what I will do is 2 of the early gen fighters will go at the minor airbase in Aleutian Islands. And 2 of them will also be built at the minor airbase in Alaska, giving me 4 there. Okay, and then the paramilitary, I will build 1 paramilitary in the Aleutian Islands and 1 in Alaska. Okay, so where are we going next? I think we go back to the Vladivostok area. In Vladivostok, we will build 2 main battle tanks. In North Korea, we will build a main battle tank and a SPAG. We will put the free attack bomber from our nuclear reserve there in Vladivostok as well. And then if we come down here to Vietnam, you should be able to see there that I've started the minor shipyard there, hoping to finish it next turn. And then I also am building an early gen fighter in South Vietnam. I'm building a mech in South Vietnam, just putting them over in the bullet box, and then the field artillery there in South Vietnam as well. Okay, and then for missiles, I believe I'm building 3 cruise missiles and 2 anti-ship missiles. Okay, now the really fun part, let's talk about money. So, winning a battle to capture an enemy land zone. So I captured North Vietnam, and I captured South Korea, and I captured Inner Mongolia. So that is 3 battle stars that I'll add to the one that I have. That's for land. I didn't do any. Yep, that's it. So 4 battle stars only. So now let's talk base income. I'm at a base income of 20 IPP. Okay. And then bonuses. So possession of any Chinese home country land zone other than Manchuria or Burma, +1 each. So I have Western Xinjiang, I have Inner Mongolia. So that's +2 for those Chinese land zones. So that takes us to 22. Possession of a U.S. Pacific Command Aligned Minor Faction land zone without an IPB value? No. Possession of Far Aleutian, Alaskan Islands, or Southeast Alaska, +1 each. So that's 3 more. That takes us to 25. No enemy naval units in P3, P4, P8, or P9. I only have 3 of those, so that's 3 more. So I believe that takes us to 28. Oil tanker hit. That's 2 more. That takes us to 31. Possession of Northern Manchuria. Yep. +2. That takes us to 33. And then Alaska. Yep. That's 3 more. That takes us to 36. Plus whatever the Politburo wants to give me in support. Only 3. So 39 IPP next turn, plus 4 battle stars. And let's see what Pacific Command can do in response. Take care, everyone. Admiral Seabass out.